You hear it all the time, right? There are two completely different stories about AI and our jobs. On one hand, it's this amazing tool that's going to make us all superhuman. But on the other hand, it's the robot that's coming to replace us all. So today, we're going to cut through all that hype and figure out which story is actually true. Now, this sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it's not. It's a real story from a real warehouse. Just think about that. 28 people down to 5 in just 6 months. And the craziest part? The company didn't even miss a beat. In fact, its profits went up. The reason for this massive change? Artificial intelligence. And this is not some one-off thing. It's happening quietly inside companies right now. So look, the conversation has kind of moved past if AI is going to shake things up. We know it is. The only question that really matters now, the one that I'm sure keeps a few of you up at night, is this one. Is it coming for your job? To get to the bottom of that, we've got to look at the data. But here's where things get really weird. The numbers themselves seem to be telling two completely opposite stories at the same time.
All right, let's start with the scary one, the number that makes your stomach drop. A huge report from the World Economic Forum says AI could get rid of as many as 92 million jobs around the world. I mean, that's not a small change. That sounds absolutely terrifying.
But hold on, just when you're about to panic, the very same report says AI is also going to create millions of new jobs. And other people are even more optimistic. Some are projecting as many as 170 million new roles. That's a huge net gain in jobs. And that's the paradox, right? How can both of these things be true? Are we all headed for the unemployment line, or are we on the verge of the biggest job boom we've ever seen? And look, this isn't just a thought experiment. Let's make this real. Last year, in the US alone, companies cut over 55,000 jobs and pointed the finger directly at AI. These aren't predictions. These are pink slips that have already been handed out. You know who else can't agree? The people who are actually building this stuff. Let's look at two of the biggest CEOs in the AI world right now. They're both staring at the same technology, and they see two completely different futures. In one corner, you've got Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic. He's on the record calling what's coming a white-collar bloodbath. Then, in the other corner, you have NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, who says this is going to kick off the biggest productivity boom in history. And let's be clear, they're not just disagreeing on the details. They are describing two fundamentally different realities for all of us. Amodei is being super specific here. He's talking about jobs in finance, consulting, tech, the very careers that we've been told for decades are the safe ones. 50% in 5 years? That's a wild prediction. But then Huang comes back with the classic argument, history. He's basically saying, hey, we've been here before. Tractors didn't end farming. They just changed it. The internet didn't end business. It created entirely new industries. He's betting this time is no different. So who's right? The pessimist or the optimist? Well, this is where the story takes a really fascinating turn. Because some recent research just dropped, and it kind of throws a wrench into both of their arguments. So get this. Researchers at Yale dove into all the labor data since tools like ChatGPT became a big deal. They were specifically looking for the first tremors of that bloodbath. And you know what they found? Pretty much nothing. On a big picture level, there's no sign of a massive job crisis. Not yet. In fact, they found that only a tiny fraction of recent layoffs were actually explicitly blamed on AI. Which really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are some companies just using AI as the perfect excuse, Maybe they overhired, or the economy's a little shaky, and it's just easier to say, oh, the robots did it. Is AI the real villain here, or is it just a convenient cover story? Okay, so if it's not a simple story of boom or bust, what is actually going on? Well, the reality is a lot more nuanced. To really get it, we need to stop looking at the whole economy and start zooming in on specific jobs. Who's really in the line of fire? All right, take a look at this. It breaks it down perfectly. Any role that involves repetitive, predictable digital tasks, think data entry, some paralegal stuff, a lot of customer service, is at high risk. Why? Because an AI can do that work at a scale and speed a human just can't match. But now look at the bottom of the list. Plumbers, electricians. You can't ask a chatbot to fix a leaky pipe in a weirdly shaped crawl space. That kind of work exists in the messy, physical world. And this is the great mind-bending reversal that's happening right under our noses. That safe office job that you needed a degree for, it's suddenly looking a lot more vulnerable. And those skilled, hands-on trades, well, they're looking surprisingly AI-proof. All right, now for the most important part of all of this. If you're sitting there and your job feels like it's on that high-risk list, what do you actually do about it? Let's talk strategy.
The first rule is simple. Do not panic. Seriously. Panic just freezes you up and leads to bad decisions. The people who are going to win in this new world are the ones who see this moment for what it is, a chance to adapt and evolve.
So here's your 3-step playbook. First, become the AI person on your team. Don't just dabble in these tools. Master them. Use them to make yourself more powerful. Don't compete against them. Second, move from doing to deciding. Let AI be the engine that executes tasks while you become the strategist who tells it where to go. And third, double down on being human. I'm talking about the skills that AI can't touch. Complex negotiation, genuine empathy, creative leadership.
So let's go back to our CEOs. Who was right? The truth is, they both are. A Modi's bloodbath is the future for anyone who tries to ignore the shift and hopes it goes away. But Wang's productivity boom, that's the future for everyone who leans in, learns the tools, and repositions themselves. Your future isn't predetermined. It depends entirely on what you do next. And this brings us to the single most important idea in this whole explainer. The real threat isn't that AI is going to wake up one day and take your job. No, AI comes for tasks. It automates the individual pieces of your role. Now, if you let AI automate enough of your tasks, your job eventually disappears. But if you are the one using AI to automate those tasks yourself, you just made yourself one of the most valuable people in your entire company. So let's be super clear. This is not the end of work, but it absolutely is the end of the safe, predictable career path. That old idea of just climbing a ladder step by step for 40 years, that's over. The new game requires constant learning and adaptation. Staying ahead of the curve isn't just a good idea anymore, it's the only strategy that's gonna work. Because ultimately, the future isn't being decided in some fancy boardroom. It's being shaped by how each and every one of us responds to this moment. So I really want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What do you do for a living? And do you think AI could replace it? And look, if you're serious about thriving in this AI economy, not just surviving, then this is the place for you. Don't wait around for your industry to force you to adapt. Hit that subscribe button and let's stay ahead of the curve together.